G'day folks, welcome to Eddie's Rules Adventures, and here we are, another journey of discovery. I'm just going to run through some stuff here today, and it's all sort of got to do with the handlebar setup, put different levers on the Himalayan, how to measure your new cable lengths. There's some risers you need to get longer cable, some you don't, you'll soon find out. So I've done took the bark busters off so we can see what's going on in there and what have you. So I'm probably going to be, for the best part, maybe like moving around and move the camera around so you can see exactly what's going on. So I'll just sort of go through it step by step. So changing the levers themselves is pretty easy. Because of these bark busters, I've got to roll the hand grips back a bit, or controls back a bit, so that I can get to doing certain things. But before we sort of get there, I just want to run through the cable, like the measuring the cable. So this cable is a cable I've had made longer, and sort of where you go with this and where you run your cables, it's called the orientation of your cables, is very important because when you pull the bars this way, your clutch cable will tighten up, your brake line will go loose. When you go the other way, the same happens. Now if you've got that too short, if you think, oh, I can get away with that, next thing you know, you've got too short a cable, you're around on your left hand lock, your clutch isn't going to work properly, it's going to be very stiff, and going the other way you can do significant damage to your brake cable, which might leave you in the shit. So what I've done here is I've prepared a little thing here. Now all I've done is gone down the bicycle shop and bought a 1.5 metre length of outer cable for a brake line on a push bike. We're just going to use that to measure the length of our cable that we need. So just keeping in mind, I've put different types of risers and stuff like that on, and I've just wound this bit of orange wire around it, so as we go around the bike you can see what's going on. To do that, I've sort of got to loosen off the adjuster and stuff like that, so that's why I just wanted to run through this quickly while we've got the adjuster in the correct position for we're putting a new cable in, and certainly for getting a new cable made longer, or cable made longer. So we're just going to go in the straight ahead position like that. You can see we've got plenty of play in that there. I'm just going to feed this through where the cable goes. Go down in there for me. Just tilt forward here so you can sort of see what I'm doing. Maybe zoom out a little bit, zoom out. Oh, maybe. There we go. Okay. Right. So we're going to come down here, and there's a little bracket on the side of the frame here that the clutch cable runs through. We're going to run through that, and it probably pays to do this while your original cable's still in there, and that way you get your orientation of the cable where it runs correct, and you don't get the problems that just come through there. Okay. And down to where the adjuster is here. I can just hang up over there. The piece I bought is a bit long, and I did that on purpose. So we'll just scoot around here. Zoom in. And there's your adjuster down there. Okay, there we go. So you can see the big cable I've got with the orange wire on there. Now you'll see that they've got the adjuster right in the middle, you can go, because that's all set up for the bike, you can sort of go back here, leave yourself about 10 plus mil there, and that way you're going to have plenty of adjustment left in your clutch, as you want to lengthen. There you go. So you're about there. Leave yourself something both ways, because that's sort of going to be important. Then what you do is just run the wire, add a cable there. You can sit in there, get a little bit of tape, and just tape it on, and there you go. And then you can just follow that up there. Just scoot back up the top here so you can see what's going on up there. and that is going to come over to your clutch lever. Make sure you're running exactly where the cable runs. There's your thing there. Get a white pen or some white out. I always keep white out handy for just such occasions. Okay, and then there you go, you're beautiful. Give me a little bit of a mark there. And then when you pull it out, when it wants to come out, it will come out. Okay. Yeah. That's going to give you the length for your outer cable. Lay it on the bench, give it a measure, and then when you get to your inner cable, just off the genuine cable, you'll just allow for the nipple up here and for the amount of inner cable that sticks out the end. That's how much longer your inner cable needs to be. I get mine professionally made. It is a little bit expensive, I'll give it that, but do you know what I mean? The setup of your bike is all important. You don't damage your gear, your bike runs properly, everything works properly, and happy days there. So that's just a quick rundown on how to measure your cable length. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into changing the levers. So I'll come around to the there. These are pretty simple. As I say, I've loosened off here, so because of that bar for the bark busters, and I can just roll that back there. Okay, and your brake one. Screwdriver. Now this retaining pin on both of your levers has a retaining nut on the bottom. It's there for a purpose. Don't lose it. You know. I'm just gonna jump in there. Now you probably notice I've already got shorty levers on there. I'm just gonna take this one off and then put it back on, just for a demo of how easy it is. So if you're just changing your levers, or you don't need to change your cables, it's all pretty straightforward. That little girl pops out there. Just make sure your plunger goes back into that thing where it's supposed to go. And we'll give them a little push. Drop the retaining pin in there, get your thread started. I'm not going to fully assemble this because that's just going to take up some time that we don't really need to waste. Just make sure I don't lose any bits along the way. Right, so I'll sort of tighten all that up and reset it as I go a bit later on in the piece. We'll just come around the other side now and have a look at the clutch cable, well, clutch lever, sorry. Just shoot around here, and it's pretty much the same thing, except for, I believe this one is a bolt, which is just there. Once again, there's a little retaining nut under there. Now this is where you need to back off the adjuster, and that's why we had a look at where that was going to be previously, so I don't have to worry too much about that, because what I'm going to do is essentially back the cable right off so I can get down that lever. As I say, I've loosened this off. I'm just going to roll that back there, pop that cable out. There you go. Okay, now the reason I'm going through all this is because stupid me ordered the wrong wrong set of shorty levers, and of course that meant I had to dodgy this one up, and then later on get some more. A little bit of an expensive mistake, but oh, there you go. Just pop that lever out there. Pop the new one in, what was wrong with the old one, and then make sure you buy the right levers for your model. When you're buying these shorty levers, this thing here for the neutral switch, basically, to stop you starting your bike while it's in gear. So that. You're going to cable back up here. Pop him in there. Make sure he's seated properly. And roll him back down there. Okay. So that's how simple it is, just to change the levers. Of course, if you're going to put the riser setup, I'm going to show you that I put on this bike. It's a lot better riser system. You get risers that just, rise. That's all they do. So we'll just run through quickly what the setup I've got here is. And I chose it because pretty much what it's going to do is give you a lot better setup, for your own size, your own preference, all that sort of stuff. Let's just have a quick look. I've loosened everything off, as I said, folks. So these are the heavier duty standard Royal Enfield handlebars with the crossbar in there. They'll fit on with the bar buster and all the rest of it. You've got your little marker here for when you're rotating your bars. But that's normal. So most risers will just jump you up however far, and you're stuck in a static position. Now the reason I chose these was because just squeeze that way. Because you can roll your bars and your risers. Okay? So what I did just there, if you just look here, these risers are a sort of a U shape with a rod that goes in there, and they're spacers for different size bars, so that comes with the kit. They were $125 from Motorcycles in West Perth. Good people to know. They do all the cabling, they do a lot of custom stuff, but it doesn't matter where you are, you should be able to chase up somebody, ring around the custom shops. All this stuff does get done quite often. And so those risers can do that, which gives you a lot more, a lot better positioning for yourself. And also you can change a little bit, if you're riding around town mostly and you prefer a different position when you're off-road, that can happen too. So on top of that, you can also rotate the handlebars in there. There's another up there. And those bars, the bars will rotate in there. I'll just go back where I had it. And that's the reason why I had to get the longer cables. Like I say, it was a little bit of an expensive exercise, all right, but it just, to me, it just makes the experience so much better. Now, things like these bolts here, you won't be able to use your originals if you're using this setup because they've got Allen head bolts, so probably can't get in there. Any sort of light industrial area, believe it or not, there'll be a bolt shop where you can buy individual bolts, and they've got no problem. $1 a bolt. Go and take the original bolt in. It's got the thread, it's got the length you need, and you simply get a more suitable bolt to go in there. Easier. That's as cheap as chips, that. So there you go. And that's pretty much what I've done, why I've done it. You know, then I won't bore you with like adjusting the clutch cable and stuff like that. The one thing you do need to keep an eye on when you're doing your clutch cable is, of course, your free plate up at the lever. It's very important so as your bike's not riding the clutch all the time. It doesn't have to be great, but there does have to be that. Let's bring that around there so you get a better view. There we go. Okay, if you can see that, that's a little bit too much, to be honest, because the whole handlebar thing's moving. But you just want a little bit of play like that, and that will mean that your clutch is fully released at any given time. Now, shorty levers and adjustable levers. I'm just spinning the bike around so you can see the lever itself a little bit better. Maybe, hopefully. Now, a lot of people think, oh yeah, I've got adjustable levers, you know, and now I can adjust the handlebar to suit myself. You know, what have you, got long fingers, short fingers, whatever. There's another purpose to them, and that is, so we can play that. So here we are, we're on the smaller setting. You push it out, up you go. It's further away. Now, this is me personally, and I think if you give it a go, you'll find out yourself. So my personal preference is all the way back there. Off-road, the levers are nice and close. You know, your clutch will be adjusted. It will still work fine. You know, you might want to go the other one out, whichever. But when you're off-road, and this is the same with your brake lever, because you don't want to be reaching out and like grabbing a big handful of brake to get something to happen, or your clutch to, you know, you want to feather your clutch while you're off-road and going through humps and bumps and all the rest of it. And then when you get on-road, you want a more sort of relaxed and, you know, sort of feel to your bike, and I flick that out. And especially to find with the brake, what you'll do is you'll push your brake lever further away from the handlebar so that when shit hits the fan or you want to stop, you actually get brake lever, you get brake straight away. You're not pulling the thing all the way back in there, you're getting it straight away. So make the most of your adjustable shorties, or your, you know, if you've got long levers, adjustable long levers, or your adjustable levers, make the most of them, because you can make those little adjustments on road, off road, you know, and it just once again makes the whole, you know, riding experience that much better. Righto, so that's enough from me for today. You know, I hope that was useful, and you got a couple of decent tips out of that. It pays to shop around, it pays to plan what you're going to do, and that way your bike's off the road a lot less. And you know, like the trick I showed you with this cable, you know, if you don't do something like that and you just go, oh yeah, I reckon I could just make another 100 mil longer, and you get it wrong, well, you've got it wrong. And it ain't fucking cheap to fix. So there you go, folks. Another Ready Wheels adventure. Hope it was helpful.